Good morning, everyone. Welcome to 5 at 5:55. We're just going to wait a couple of seconds while Facebook makes its announcement throughout the feed to people who are waiting for my notifications. So Facebook's just let me know that they're doing that now. You're live. We're building an audience, which means that all the people I know that have taken the time to set their notifications are all able to join. So, good morning. I'm Michelle House from Rich Living, and today's topic is how to prioritize and know what is important. So this all came about from a conversation I was having in my Rich Living Room group with a lady by the name of Anita. Hi, Anita. And I wanted to take a couple of angles with this question, actually. Excuse me, this morning. So this question usually comes about when you are when you've got a lot on your plate, when the to-do list is, you're writing it here and then you've got to do half of the to-do list again today, and then you get to tomorrow and then you do it again, and you start to feel overwhelmed. And it's, okay, I've got this list and I know that I've got all these things to do, but how do I prioritize it? How do I know what's the next one to take? So for me, what I do when my list starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger, is I actually go through a process, and so I do a brain dump. I actually get all my to-do lists, because sometimes I have so much going on that I've just got to-do lists everywhere. I could get all of my thanks, Bailey. I always get all of my post-it notes. I've got little notebooks in my handbag. Good morning, Amanda. And I gather all of that information, and then I put it all in front of me, and I also just get in the zone. I like to call it, I get in the zone and I just brain dump. And I do random. So I'll go, remember the milk, get the bass organized, marketing calls, emails, blah, 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 whatever. And I just actually dump it. I don't edit it. I don't try to sort it. I don't try to put it in any order. The aim is for me just to get it all out of my head. Because once I've got all of the stuff and the thoughts out of my head, it's like I've gone through with a broom and brushed it all out and put it on the page, and then I actually can sit in a space of emptiness where I can ground and connect with what's next. Because there is, as we all know, there's a divine intelligence, an innate source that is way bigger than we are, that has everything going on beyond us. So it's really important to get yourself back to that space and out of the overwhelm by doing the brain dump first. So it's business, personal, it's family, it's, things that I want to do, paint my nails, whatever it is, get it out and brain dump it. Just checking my notes. Then the next thing I do is I go through and I sort it into, that's all the business stuff, that's all the personal stuff. So if you've got a job, maybe it's all of the work stuff and then all of your personal stuff. Morning, Joe. And then I actually connect and I do some grounding work. Once I've got that empty space in my head, I can actually focus on grounding. Now, if you say there, oh, I don't have time to do any of that grounding kind of stuff, you're actually not living. So this is really important. You need to live, you need to get clarity, you need to get space in order to have opportunity invited into your life. In order to have abundance come into your life, you actually need to get to that place of clarity. So one of the things I do for grounding is take my shoes off and I actually go stand on the ground. And I just imagine that I am part of the earth, and I connect myself and I ground, and I take 3 or 4 deep breaths and get myself to the present moment. So I stop worrying, I stop thinking about the future, I stop worrying about the past, and I get myself into that present moment. And then I ask the question of this, and it doesn't matter at this point if you're religious, it would be God or Jesus or whatever. For me, I'm divine intelligence. I know there is a divine intelligence bigger than me. It blooms the rose, it rises the sun, brings the tides in and out. There's something there that's bigger than me. So I ask the question, what's required? What's next? And I just sit with that. And I don't try to think about what's next. I just sit with what's next. You tell me what's next now. And then that what's next will come up. And this happened to me yesterday, actually, when I was trying to work out how to write, what kind of an email to write to my subscribers. And I'm going, oh, I don't know what to write. And I was emailing with my copy coach going, what am I going to write? What am I going to write? And she said, do this. And I went, oh, yeah, that's right. Go, that's right. Grounding. And in that, I had one word land into my mind, which was life. And I didn't question it. I wrote it down on a piece of paper. And then I went, okay, what about life do you want me to share with my tribe? And then the next step came about, and it was just words. It was like your mum, your dad, Jonathan when he had his melanoma. And I'm going, okay, so I just wrote it down, but without thinking, how am I going to make this into a blog post? How am I going to make this into an email? How am I going to make this into a Facebook thing? It wasn't any of that. It was just, like I said before, this brain dump of information. And then I sat down and I wrote. So again, wrote with no editing and just got it out. And, you know, it was great. It was great. But the point is, I connected to something that is bigger than me to ask what's next. Now, that Tattinger, if those who have just joined today, I'm getting a bottle of Tattinger when I can keep this in the 5 minutes because we're at 6. And I also, if you need to go, that's fine. But I also wanted to share a story in there where I began to really trust and have faith that there was something bigger than me. Because I know that can seem a bit out there for some people. And it was about, it was probably 6 or 7 years ago when I knew that I had to prepare my my tax for the quarter. And I knew it was coming, and you know, there's a deadline. It's the 28th of the month, and you've got to do it, you've got to do it, you've got to do it. And I was trying to just decide, was I procrastinating? Was I being lazy? Well, I wasn't being lazy because I was actually doing lots of other things. I was procrastinating and postponing it and postponing it. And I wasn't connecting. This was before I knew how to do all that. And I would go, oh, I've got to do the BAS, I've got to do the BAS, oh, I've got to do the tax, and then do something else, and then do something else, and do something else, and then get really guilty and really frustrated that I haven't done it, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble, I need to do it, I have to do it, why am I leaving things to the last minute, rah, rah, rah. Anyway, I finally, no joke, the 27th, did the tax return, and so this went on for 6 weeks. So this constant fight with myself, if you like, this constant fight of you should, you shouldn't, you should, you shouldn't, you should, you shouldn't, and then listening, not listening, listening, not listening. And then I got there and I did the BAS, put it in and went, oh, see, you always do things at the last minute. You like working under pressure, blah, 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 blah. And then I called my accountant and I said, because it was actually for a company that we were in the process of thinking about whether or not we were going to continue with it. And I rang the accountant and went, no, just made my decision. I'm not going through that again. I don't want to do BAS statements anymore. This is just rubbish. Why are we still doing this for this company? And he said, we took that off the register 12 months ago. What are you doing the BAS for? So if I had got grounded and got present, don't you think the universe or divine intelligence or source would have said, hey, whisper, whisper, call your accountant, ask him if you have to do the BAS. Instead of me wasting 6 weeks of this struggle and that horrible guilty feeling that you haven't done what you're supposed to be doing. So it's really important that that's the way you prioritize, is you connect to your source and it will tell you what's next. So this morning, take some time, go and stand in the grass. And you know, sometimes it's ridiculous. You know that you have to make lunches because the kids have to go to school. And you'll stand there and you'll go, okay, universe, what's required? Because I don't really feel like making freaking lunches. What's required for me to do next? And it might be, go have a shower. And you're going, well, I can't have a shower yet. I've got to do the lunches. Go have a shower, go have a shower. And then you might be in the shower and have this amazing idea or this amazing thought, or remember something that you've got to remember to take to school today. Trust, and start that trust with little small things in your life. What's next is the question. Ask for clarity. Say, how can I have clarity with this situation right now? And wait, and just wait. Wait in that silence, because in that silence is magic. I would not be doing, oh, let's see, goosebumps, sign. I wouldn't be doing these live what am I doing? 5 minutes live at 5:55 if I hadn't connected to source. Yes, I was prompted by Amanda, my beautiful friend Amanda, g'day Amanda, to get on camera and to be delivering this kind of information to people. But it was the connection to source that said, do just 5 minutes. Why don't you do it at 5:55? All of that landed when I connected and grounded and got back. And how do I prioritize? I do it by grounding. So I hope that has answered Anita's question in 10 minutes. Well, you know, 2 lots of 5 at 5:55. Oh, well, there you go. And Amanda has just said, Source told me to tell you. Yes, yes. So when we're all in tune, when we're all aligned, when we're all connected and we're all grounded, we are all one, right? You know, this isn't me. This is Source. I stand here in the morning and I smack myself on the thighs like this. And I run that vibration through my body, and because it wakes me up and connects me to Source. It's my little reminder, if you like. Okay, right, connect, go. Universe, what do my people need to hear from me today? What do my people need to know that is going to make them bigger today? Bigger versions of themselves today? Yes, I've got a topic, but I haven't written everything I just said, have I, on that piece of paper? No, I've given myself some notes to remind myself. But yeah, if when we connect to whatever it is for you, and everybody has their own belief in what that greater intelligence is, like I said before, it could be God, it could be, you know, it could be Buddha, could be whatever. For me, it's divine intelligence. And there's an innate source that I know. When I was pregnant and I had babies in my belly, I wasn't making that. I know my body was. I know my body participated in that. But that miracle, something else was doing that. So I'd be pretty naive and silly to sit back and think that I had control of what's happening. Anyway, we are way over time. Cup of tea, love. Love you loads, guys. I'll see you again tomorrow at 5:55. If you've got any questions, post them in the feed, just like Anita did last week, and I'll get through answering them for you in these 5-minute segments. Well, 10-minute segments. Or 15. Okay, bye.